Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore Podcast, a podcast that reviews of movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 374. Yes, I did just look up to the number to see if it was right, because I forget. At this point, like, we've done so many episodes that it's like, how am I going to remember all these numbers? But yeah, as always, is the Nerdcon here to host showlines from my wonderful co-host, Young Yoda.
Sup, everybody. Welcome to another International Film Month.
Yep. We're going to end it today. And then, of course, the patrons get the actual, conclusion when we discuss Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Epic.
But as always, man, how are you doing?
I am alive and somewhat awake.
Somewhat awake, man.
Somewhat awake.
Yeah.
And to all those tuning in after this, although this won't come out for Patreons is out, but I will not be on Minecraft because that shit makes me sick.
Yep. Even the one on the PlayStation makes you sick.
Just makes me sick, bro.
Yeah. Luis wanted you to play with us. He was like, "Hey, tell Brad it was so much fun having him on." And I was like, "Well, dude, Brad said he got sick last time, so he's not having fun with it."
It was bad. Like I don't know why, but that game sometimes I don't know. It just makes my stomach curdle.
Oh, I love that game so much, bro. And yes, before you say yes, I know I have to shave. It looks bad. I know. I have to. But yours is finally kicking back in.
Indeed. Took long enough.
It went by quick, though.
Yeah, it did. It did. What, 3-4 weeks? It was finally basically grown.
Yeah. Well, today we're going to be discussing 2000's Joint Security Area, which is that was actually the third film by Park Chan-wook. And if you guys do not know who Park Chan-wook is, well, acclaimed South Korean director. He did his Vengeance trilogy, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Old Boy, Lady Vengeance. He also did 2016's The Handmaiden for Amazon Video, and he also helped produce Snowpiercer. He's also done American films here. He's done Stoker, but he's also well known for his 2009 horror film Thirst. So he's him and Bong really kind of do own the cinema over there. They're like the biggest names you can find over there. Of course, Lee Chang-dong is also another big name that you can find over there. And Hong Sang-soo as well is a big name over there too. But yeah, both of these directors also work a lot with Song Kang-ho.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them work constantly with Song Kang-ho, which is pretty cool. I saw Song Kang-ho in, I believe he's not an old boy, Mr. Vengeance, I think.
I think he's in Parasite.
He's in Parasite, of course. He's also in Snowpiercer. But I just want to double check. I don't want to be wrong here. No. Choi Min-sik is in Old Boy, but Mr. Vengeance, he's in this. He's in Mr. Vengeance, Song Kang-ho, and of course he's in this film as well. So this is I think this is the first time he kind of he works with Park, and yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about this, unless you have anything to say, Brad, before we go in.
Not really.
Nothing you want to bring up? By the way, I've had to watch a lot of movies today.
What'd you watch other than this?
I'm currently watching Devil in a Blue Dress, Denzel Washington film. Yeah, Denzel's pretty damn good in it too.
I mean, Denzel's good at everything. Let's get right to that.
Yeah, and then later on, after I'm done with that one, I have to watch L.A. Confidential.
Mm-hmm.
So I've watched quite a lot. I'm watching quite a lot today and tomorrow. So yeah. Well, with that being said, if you've never seen Joint Security Area, I recommend you guys go ahead and get out of here if you don't want spoilers. But if you don't care about spoilers, then go ahead and keep going. So with that being said, this is your spoiler warning, and it is in effect in a 5, 4, 3, 2, one. Yeah, I don't have my iPad on me. But here, let's go ahead and get to it because it's coming from the one and only source, the only source we ever use, Wikipedia. Yes, we could use IMDb, but when does IMDb ever make like this really nice entry where it gives us information about the budgets and stuff?
No, it doesn't. You have to go search that shit.
Yeah. So Joint Security Area is a 2000 South Korean mystery thriller film starring Lee Young-ae, Lee Byung-hun, and Song Kang-ho. It was directed by Park Chan-wook and is based on the novel DMZ by Park Sang-young. Demilitarized Zone, by the way. That's what DMZ stands for. The film, which was shot on location in South Korea, concerns an investigation into the circumstances surrounding a fatal shooting incident within the DMZ, the heavily fortified border that separates North and South Korea. It was the highest grossing film in Korean film history at the time and won Best Film at the 2000 Blue Dragon Film Awards and the 2001 Grand Bell Awards. So, of course, directed by Park Chan-wook. He writes this with a bunch of other writers. Music by Jo Young-wook and Bang Jong-suk. Sek. Cinematography by Kim Seong Bok, and also with a running time of an hour and 110 minutes, an hour and 40 minutes. So yeah, and there's a lot of different languages being spoken in here: Korean, English, French, and German. Well, yeah. German one time in the film. I can't believe that was enough to garner it an entry into the Wikipedia. It's just when the German says "Scheiße."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, there's quite a more French spoken in it, but like there's way more French than German for sure. But yeah, I chose this because I'm a big Park Chan-wook fan. I've said it before. I have a really big crisis between who I think my favorite Korean director is. Like I go back and forth with Park Chan-wook and Bong Joon-ho because they're both incredible directors. And I know, Brad, this is probably your first time watching a film from Park. So, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've watched about 5 now with him, 5 of his movies. So this, even though I will say this is not as great as the other films he's made, this is also one of the early, foundational movies of Park that really kind of shows off his style that he was going to start going into, like this, like the, not the quick cuts, but the camera moving around like in different positions and doing this weird movement where it starts kind of breaking a little bit of rules of cinema, like the 180-degree rule and stuff like that. And I think that this is really, really foundational for Park. I think that the story is really, really interesting. The whole fact that we're kind of like is not an expansive story, really, and that's kind of what I've seen with a lot of these directors with this film, with the films for this month, is that we don't really have ourselves a big, like expansive scope for a story here. Like shooting happens, we're investigating it, but like it's not like an American detective film where it's like going through different locations trying to find the detective parts. I mean the evidence. It's like really concentrated with the people who were in there, and I think it also has a lot to say about the modern politics of Korea, North and South Korea. So that's my initial thoughts. Brad, what are your initial thoughts on Joint Security Area?
I'm conflicted with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Story-wise, this is a very interesting and very developed story, the way it's written. The fact that you have what is supposed to be two enemies from either side coming together, basically becoming friends. Mm-hmm. Very interesting in that. I wasn't expecting that based on the visuals that this starts off with, because this looks exactly like something that you would see visually in Top Gun or James Bond, and it's not an action film at all, really. I mean, there's action parts, but it's not a Top Gun, it's not James Bond. But you have like the scrolling like date that pops up every now and again with the time, and then you have just certain scenes just look like it would come out of a Top Gun movie. And I don't know how I feel about that. But this was 2000, visually, it's gonna look kind of like that.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan, James Bond, GoldenEye. That's kind of what the visual style I'm getting throughout this thing with the cold concrete buildings and all that. But story wise, it's a very remarkable story. It pulls you in. It's just visually, I'm not the biggest fan of this, just because I feel like it's stuck in that time frame of the 90s.
Yeah, but and also, like I said, this is like Park barely kind of understanding his visual style, because once you get into his next work, like the Vengeance trilogy, like it's stylized, like really really stylized, and it's like it looks like Lady Vengeance. You would not think that that's 2005. Like I watched that film and I was like, wow, that's not 2005. This is like some 2010s quality right here. Like what's going on? So that's when I say this is actually my least favorite from Park. Like this is one that isn't really, there's still, by the way, with the camera movements, like it's very much his style, and the whole twist that always comes with a Park Chan-wook film is that there's always a big twist in the film, and and I'll say it, I'm gonna probably get some shit for this, but I think that Park does the twist better than M Night does.
You're probably not getting too much shit for that.
Yeah, probably not, but I'm probably gonna get some people saying, "No, it's just a show for international cinema. That's all he likes. Whatever." Yeah. So, but I think that he does it better. But I will say though, one of the things that I enjoy from here the most is Song Kang-ho's performance.
Oh yeah, the acting by all the actors in this was brilliant. Very good.
Mm-hmm. I love those moments where he's like smiling, but then he goes into like this like that, and he just changes into like this very serious person. Mm-hmm. So when they're like one of the first times when they're just hanging out, and he's talking about like, have you ever shot a man before, or ever killed a man before? And he's like, he's like having a good time, and then he pulls out the gun, and he's like, but what if I just like point it at you right there? And then he goes with the AK, and he points it at him, and he's like, this is what's gonna happen, like this is how it feels to be on the receiving end. And also like when they're doing the interrogation between Song Kang-ho and the other actor, and how quickly he just snaps, throws the table, gets on him, and starts getting like that. Like Song Kang-ho, if you didn't know it, like probably one of the greatest actors, bro. Like he's just so damn good.
I mean, if you didn't know that after Parasite, then you weren't watching the movie.
You were watching the movie. He's one of the best. And I mean, like, it's crazy because we saw Snowpiercer where he doesn't really have that big of a role, and he's still great in that.
Yeah, he still steals the show.
Yeah.
But I gotta say that scene you bring up where he snaps, I feel like that was him acting. So it's basically to save both their asses. Yeah. Because let's face it, if he's found out to be over there with the enemy, he's dead. Like, there's no coming back. So that was basically to stop him from whatever the fuck the other guy was about to say.
Yeah, and then the sergeant, of course, Sergeant Lee, just the face of despair because he knows what he did wrong. Like, how because he just made like friends with enemies, and he knows, like, since the beginning he knew that this wasn't going to go as well as he wanted it to.
But it's that hope of maybe it could be the start of something, and then like a lot of things, it's kind of dashed just on the rock.
And it just goes back to our conditioning and how we were brought up to look at things, and how, even though they were friends and like they genuinely loved each other, like their conditioning just brought them back to point guns at each other and kill each other.
Yep.
And like, and then, what to me, why Song Kang-ho's character is so interesting is the fact that he kills his commanding officer. Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, he puts in the last shot so that way he doesn't really get Sergeant Lee in trouble. But I love the actor who plays Sergeant Lee as well. He's just that broken face, but also just like those moments of vulnerability where he's crying and like he just feels like he's lost, because here are two people he genuinely loved and respected, and he just went back to being
the enemy.
The enemy. And he was just like, this whole time we've been hanging out and just, respecting and loving each other, we go back to being who we think we are, and it's just enemies.
I mean, it's brilliant performances on both sides of this.
Yeah,
So I mean, to me, this movie is really, really good in storytelling and acting and sound. Is just the look of it is very dated to me. Like
yeah.
it is one of those. It's just I can't for some reason I just can't get the image of fucking Top Gun and GoldenEye out of my mind. That's what it looks to me. Maybe if they didn't do some stuff like the text that pops up like it
Mhm.
does. I feel like there's stuff in this that wasn't necessary for the story.
Like what?
Like the text. Like I don't
Oh,
think
the
it you
text.
need
Yeah,
it. I don't think you needed to do the whole fucking like d like
yeah,
that like typewriter or whatever the fuck that
yeah.
was.
I think that's a weird choice.
It's very
And
90s. It's very
yeah,
dated.
it's like that's something that like I was like, don't really think you need it. I also think that what's it called? Like what's it called? I think that like the characters are well developed and everything, but like the film feels like it cares more about the flashbacks at times. Like I kind of got lost at one point. I'm like, oh, wait, am I paying attention correctly, or are we still like doing the investigation? And the flashback seems to be taking up a lot of screen time, and I'm like, oh crap. I did find it interesting that the girl detective didn't continue, like they just made her get off of it. So I found that very interesting, but at the same time, I was like, I was kind of really enjoying the girl detective, and I really wanted to see her kind of go more into it.
Can I share
And
my screen real quick?
yes, yes.
Also, this bothers me.
The
This whole, just the way this is marketed, because this is not at all what this film is,
mm.
like at all.
And like I said, like you look at you look at it, you look at what's it called here. Let me see, what's it called? The poster for Old Boy, which Old Boy is just what's it called? The poster's great. Like it's very different from what you
Like this is reminiscent of like an old Sean Connery, spy movie. This is or like a Black Hawk Down or something to that effect. And this movie is nothing like that. And to me, this movie is better than this. I feel like this is just marketed poorly.
yeah, yeah, I believe, and like you see the difference between this, right? Here you go,
Yeah,
this,
like this probably is closer to the movie.
yeah. It's just to me, I think it's odd. It's an odd choice, like what they were doing with like, and it's like I get the mystery thriller you were kind of going for, but like when I saw that poster, I was like, honestly, man, before I watched this film, when I saw that poster, I was like, are we getting like like an action thriller here,
Yeah, that's what it's really looking like. It's like a Black Hawk Down, Top Gun kind of
yeah,
esque movie.
which was really weird for me because me watching everything else that Park has done, I was like, that's not Park. That's not his style. Like he doesn't do like his films are action. Like his films do have action scenes, but
And
it's not
like
action.
like when you first see this to go watch the movie, you're thinking, like, if you don't know anything about this movie, you're just going in blind. You think this is gonna be an like action movie,
Yeah,
and then it turns into something that's better than that. But at the same time, you went in there with the anticipation that you're
yeah,
gonna see like jets and more explosions than you did and all that shit. And so to me, it kind of confuses everything the way it's marketed.
yeah. It's oddly marketed for sure, bro. I think that it's and like I do agree with you with the text. I was like, is that really necessary? But like,
I mean, I don't think so. And just the way some of this is shot is just very old school stylized, like war movie.
yeah,
And I mean, it does deal with two. Also, there is a scene in there where those costumes are not fitting at all well. Like, there's one where he salutes and the jacket's like huge. There is just like, I mean, if you're going to do a war movie with like the uniforms and stuff, at least get like somebody to like, sew that shit down.
yeah, yeah. So I gotta lend you my Shutter so you can watch the Vengeance trilogy because the Vengeance trilogy is great. But like, I do want to say that his like the visual, at least the visual quality of his films. I think that, and what's it called? I don't want to use it as an excuse, but like because the what's it called the cinema of South Korea is so brand new, Like Parasite was really the I think it was 100 years of of South Korean cinema. And when you look at it from us over here who've had cinema for like since the 1900s. I mean, like they what's it called, the late 1800s with the Lumiere brothers.
Mhm.
Like, you know sometimes I got to be a little bit, with the visual quality, I got to put it like aside because I'm like, okay, this is a barely growing what's it called, industry in South Korea. There's not that much funding available.
Well, and I don't know if I can really take points away for just the visual style of this
Yeah,
because this was 2000.
it's just the
This was
decisions.
right. This was
Yeah,
right. Yeah, some of the decisions are kind of sketchy, but I get why he did it because
yeah,
if he's going off anything, it's those 90s war movies. But
yeah.
at the center of this story, it's not really a war
Hmm.
story. It's a
Oh,
story of friendship
yeah,
and like a friendship against odds. And that's that's where I have to come with this story is everything in this movie, and the visuals are subpar to it.
yeah, yeah. So I will say though, his like the blood splatters, like, man, those just get better in
Those are
his
good.
next
I mean,
in
those
his
were good
next move.
actually.
Like
Yeah.
when he shoots him in the head, when he shoots the commanding officer in the head, and just that shot of him coming down on the window and the blood kind of smearing,
Mhm.
like, I'm telling you right now, as somebody who's seen these other films, like that gets better. Like it just gets even more stylish. It's just incredible. Like what I see with this movie is kind of what I see with like a bunch of other films from like early directors, like other directors like Wong Kar-wai. Like you see something like what's it called, In the Mood for Love, and you look and you see what's it called, and then you watch Happy Together, and you're like, oh, that's him kind of getting to know his style.
Well,
And
I
then when you
mean,
get to In the Mood for Love, you're like, oh, this is what's it called, Wong just really understanding himself.
well, if we're going to talk about blood, then I got to bring up Tarantino. You
Yeah,
go from Reservoir Dogs to Pulp Fiction to
yeah,
Kill Bill. Like
just
the stylization just like
gets better
he
and better.
upped the ante like each
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. I really want you to watch those Vengeance films, Brad, because I really want to talk to you about Old Boy. And Old Boy, like, there's like a really great scene in there that inspired the hallway scene from Daredevil season 1.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and go with my score here. I give Joint Security Area an 8.5 out of 10. It's good. It's foundational Park Chan-wook, but it's not the best he's done for sure. The Vengeance trilogy and the Handmaiden. The Handmaiden is actually my favorite one from him, but this is just kind of his foundational work, and because of that, I respect it a lot and I enjoy the story. But this is obviously him just getting to know his directing chops.
I'm gonna go ahead and give this an 8 out of 10. I think story wise, this man, even from early, even if this is an early film of his,
This is
he's
third one. Yeah.
a genius storyteller. He's a genius storyteller. Don't, but visually, I think he was still trying to find his footing, like you said.
Yeah, yeah, it is him just kind of starting to get to learn his footing, and just when he kind of goes into his next films, like it just gets even better. I'm just gonna check right here. Yeah, so in 1992, he does "The Moon Is the Sun's Dream," and that is is how long? Let me see if it is a feature. It's 103 minutes. Yes. There's no Wikipedia entry for his second film, Trio. And then he writes another film in 2000, and then he does Joint Security Area in 2000. Yeah, it's his third film. No entry for Trio. What the hell? Is it on Letterbox? But yeah, I gotta say for sure, this is definitely one that you guys can go and check out. But like, we didn't really end out with a bang like we usually do sometimes. But this has been a really good
It's
month.
been a good month. I mean, no movie below a 7.
Yeah.
Like, what the other 3 movies were what 10, 2 10s, and a 9.5 or something.
Yep. 2 10s and a 9.5. So
That's pretty abnormal for us,
yeah.
especially after Western month.
I think we want to forget Western month. What could have been a really interesting what's it called, a month ended up being one of our worst experiments. Okay, so it does have a entry in what's it called, in Letterbox. Let me check how long it is to make sure if it is a feature, because then I can't say that it's his third feature film. Great. There's no details. Oh wait, no, there is. There is. Come on, bro. Um, it is. There's 102 minutes. Yeah, it is his second feature film.
Hmm.
But yeah, well, yeah, Western Month, not our best. What's it called? Choice. We'll be back on Saturday. We'll be here to do our what's it called? Our horror month picks. But this Saturday we are reviewing The Devil All the Time. And then, of course, this week is the week of being overshot. So next week, finally, we'll be doing our review of The Mirror with Aiden on Tuesday.
Have to
And
go
then
rewatch
Saturday,
that then.
what's up?
Have to go rewatch that then because I
Yeah.
don't fucking remember anything.
Yeah, well, you already watch The Devil All the Time, so you're good. Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to do that. And then Saturday, we'll see what we can review. But then next month, the month I dread, more than Viewers Choice Month, Horror Month. And we'll see what we pick for that. I still got to check with Leia if she wants to come and do that. So, yeah, she might be really busy with grad school. So, we'll see. But it's been a lot of fun, guys. And I got to say, a lot of these films are available on either Criterion Channel or Mubi. Mubi's another great one where you kind of have international films, but also films that, usually don't get like big distributor, like, Netflix releases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you guys can go and check that out and see what's on there. A lot of Werner Herzog is on there, guys. If you guys ever want to check out his work, it's on Mubi.
I want to see the baby.
I would like to see the baby.
I would like to see the baby.
Yeah. But with that being said, as always, patrons get this episode early and earlier than everybody else. And what's it called? We want to thank them so much. Our Patreon supporters are wonderful. You can go and check them. You can go and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/nerdcore and choose a tier from 1 or 100. And you guys get access to these episodes early and a lot of other cool stuff. I'm relaunching my movie club. So the $5 tier members, we're going to be doing that. And we're choosing one film for the month. And I'll go ahead and put it out there for you guys. We're going to be watching a film from Wong Kar-wai next month. Acclaimed Hong Kong director. So you guys go and check that out if you want to go see something new. So what's it called? I'm not charging you guys to watch the film with me, by the way. I'm charging you to discuss the film and do a podcast episode on it with me. So don't think that it's charging you to watch a film. I would not do that. It's much more than that. But yeah. We want to thank our producers and our writers, our associate producers, Cassie and Sarah. Thank you for continuing on to be wonderful producers of this show. Our executive producers as well, Grayson Barker 98 on Instagram, Warlord 1 Bar on Twitter. Thank you so much, Grayson. You're the OG, the first producer we've ever had, first executive producer as well. We love you so much, man. We also want to thank Pardis Jesu Dawson, and he can be found at Pardis Jesu Dawson on Twitter. He doesn't have an Instagram. I forgot. He doesn't have an Instagram. So it's PARDIS JESUDASEN. Yeah. By the way, Brad, you never promoted Unstructured last week. Completely forgot about that. Completely forgot about that.
I think I tweeted it out once.
No, but I mean on the show, like, what did you talk about?
So on the show I talked about pubic beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was gross. Talked about people drinking bleach. So they were dumb, and something else.
Yeah, you should really talk about the PS5 pre-orders and how you got one and not Nate Shot.
Yeah. Although I'm sure Nate Shot could just go on eBay and buy all of them, and
of course,
because some people just be holding the bag like that.
Yep. All right, and we want to thank our other executive producer Shane.
You follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/xrk or on Twitter at xsrk_.
Awesome. And you can find our wonderful writers, Brown Rice 96 on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. Bryce, thank you so much. And I'll catch you in the Minecraft right now after this. And we also want to thank our wonderful Tony.
Tony. Hey, Tony.
And you can find him at Real Nerdy Dad on Twitter. And also in our Among Us games. Because him and Brad, I think Brad found somebody else to put the blame on except for me. Because
I've been pointing Tony out because I don't know, Tony acts sus sometimes. They're just like, Tony, why you following me? Why you
Yeah.
follow me, bro? Although me and Tony, like, we ganged up and figured it Pardis out. Because
Yeah.
so in Among Us, me and Tony are here, and Pardis is just standing here, walking back and forth like this, and me and Tony are like, "What the fuck is he doing? Like he's not doing anything."
Yeah.
So I run up, press the button, and it is Pardis. It's just like, Pardis, you gotta act like you're doing something.
Yep. All right, man. We'll be seeing you guys later. I'll be back we'll be back on Saturday for the Devil All the Time review. But I believe Game Record. We should be on Game Record this week. You know, looking like it's not going to be a tough week, but we'll see. But Game Record this week, and we'll be talking about the PS5 pre-order situation and all those wonderful things we got to see during the showcase, and a lot of cool stuff. But with that being said, it's been a lot of fun, and make sure you guys are out here watching some good films and staying safe. So, what's it called, Brad? Let's go ahead and send them out.
All right, Ro. Thank you for being host as always. Thank you to all our listeners out there, all our Patreon supporters. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank to all those who follow us on social media. Love you guys. Anyways, to end this, I'll just say, hug your bros. Young Yoda out.
Good bros.